and Haribol from south of Vienna. What's the name of this village, Shodarya Janani?
Grünbach am Schneeberg.
Grünbach am Schneeberg. Or the green stream on the snow mountain. Yeah. So that's where we are today. This is not a very attractive background. That's better. Okay, so let us begin. Get organized. Yes. Okay. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaganam Raghunatang Vitang No Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitangscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Saturday Sanga Sangis Ki Jai. You're all Sangis, members of the Sangha. First order of business translation, we have Espanol, Katyayani, you're translating Espanol, and Tirtharaj, who could just as well translate in Espanol, must be translating into Hrvatsky, da. No Ruski and no Deutsch, it looks like.
Yeah, Russian is there, Guru Maharaj, and German we are waiting for.
Oh, I don't see Russian listed here.
And Polish we have on Facebook.
Okay, good. Thank you. Oh, now I see Russian. Okay. Great. Thank you, all of you translators in advance. I always want to thank you at the end, and then I miss. So I'm thanking you in advance. for doing a yajna. So we are continuing with songs of Srila Narottama Das Thakur. And today we have a song, and last week we had a song. Last week's song was called Mathura-virahocita, Mathura-virahocita Darasana-lalasa, song number 1. And it's another Kabe question song. When will that day be mine? And I think his first one is especially interesting. Kabe Krishna Dan Pabo. When will I obtain the treasure, the dhana, which is Krishna? So thinking of Krishna as a treasure. Treasure, we think maybe of a big wooden chest full of gold and jewels, but such a treasure is a pale comparison. It's not a, there's really, we could say, no comparison to the treasure which is Krishna, because the treasure which is Krishna is not measurable in terms of any material value. It's when we think of value, there's measurable value and there's non-measurable value. And we usually think of measurable value in terms of money. We have some goods, we buy and sell different things, and each of them can be, there's a very specific value that can be associated with such things, such goods, which is applying when someone agrees to buy something for that amount, which is an interesting feature about the art world, the world of art as the buying and selling of works of art, of paintings and sculptures and such. And now, sometimes it will, some news will come that such and such painting or such and such piece of art, sculpture was sold at an auction for some fantastic amount of money, so and so many millions of dollars or euros. And it usually happens long after the artist who made the piece of art is dead and gone. So that person who actually made it is not benefited. But somehow the way the art world works, that's how it works. But that's all measurable value, but then there's immeasurable value. And here we speak of moral values, but we also speak of intrinsic value. And we might want to say that Krishna is the source of all, well, he's the source of all kinds of value, but in particular, he's the source of all intrinsic value. So we say life has intrinsic value, human beings have intrinsic value, at least in general, in modern value in ethics theory. Animals, we may want to say, should have intrinsic value, but for most human beings, unfortunately, they don't. Having moral standing is also a technical term that's used. Anyway, I'm getting off the subject. Narottama says, oh, and then came in the second verse, Kabe mor hoibe sudin se prananata shangi. When will I regain my master's association? Is in the translation. When will I happily return with singing and dancing to the shore of the Yamuna? We've been asking ourselves whether Narottama Das wrote these songs before he ever went to Vrindavan, or whether he is in Vrindavan when he writes them, or when he has been to Vrindavan and now he's back in, I guess, in Ketari Gram, his homestead. Yeah, the second option might be, or the third option might be the more realistic one. And in the third verse, when in the company of Lalita and Vishaka will I meet Lord Krsna? And we thought about this suggestion here being that Narottama is seeing himself in his eternal form, possibly as a mājhāre, and so he is longing for the company of Lalita and Vishaka as their assistant. The last verse then, Daruna vidhirnat bhangilo premerhat tilo matrona rākhi tāre. Cruel fate has made me poverty-stricken. And I do not have even a penny to purchase the goods sold in the marketplace of pure love for Krishna. So the tila or tila matra is translated as just a penny, although tila means a sesame seed. Sesame, yeah, it can also mean sesame oil, I think, but must mean a sesame seed. So in this last verse, he's again expressing some kind of lamentation. But then he finally says, my life's hope is to renounce everything and attain the Prince of Raja. If you remind me later, perhaps we can say one or two things about the idea of hope, something I've came across in my reading, but I won't linger on that just now. Now we can go to today's song, which is Mathura-virahocita, Darasana-lalasa, song number 2. Viraha, what does viraha mean? It means separation, sense of absence, and uchita would mean arising. And darasana is the stretched out darshan, and lalasa is longing. So longing for darshan, which arises, uchita, from the feelings of separation, absence, from Mathura. And here, Mathura, I think we have to take in the inclusive sense. Sometimes we understand a very significant distinction between Vrindavan or Braj and Mathura. When Krishna leaves Vrindavan and goes to Mathura to meet Kamsa's fate. But also Mathura can be understood, Mathura can be understood as inclusive of Vrindavan. And to me, it would make more sense the second way, inclusive. All right. So, and this is all coming from the songbook Prarthana, where Prarthana can simply mean prayer. Baro, verse 1. Baro paile, dekhā charana dukhāni. Hiyāra, mājhāre, rākhi, judabo, parāni. I pray that I may now see the two lotus feet of Lord Krsna. I will place these lotus feet in my heart. I will dedicate my entire life and soul to them. Okay, I think we got a word-for-word translation with help from Avadhuta Rai. And let's see what we have. Yeah. Whoops, is this the one? No. Next one. Okay. Okay. So yes, bāra paile, bāra this time. And paile, this ending, ile, is a kind of conditional form, I think it would be called. So, or subjunctive form, I don't know. So paile, we had in the last verse pābo, I will obtain. When will I obtain? Pābo, paśibo sometimes. And here it's paile, if I will get. And Dekha, to see charana dukhāni. One could be forgiven for thinking that dukhāni means something like miseries, suffering. But notice dukkha, it would be spelled D-U-H-K-H-A. And we might think this would be a plural of that, but no, that's not what it is. It's dukhāni, and du it indicates two, and khāni indicates, I think it has a sense of just items. When there's two of something, they can be dukhāni. Yeah. We have, I don't know if you can hear, but we have some very fired up small children here in the house. We're in the home of Audarya Janani and her family, her very nice husband, Dancho, and 5, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 children. Okay. Hiyāra mājhāre rākhi judābo parāni. So parāni, we I think have another stretched word for prana, prani. Prani would be one who has prana, like yogi is one who does yoga, and judabo, I will unite. And hiya, we may remember, means heart. So where in the heart? Mājhāre, in the middle, from the Sanskrit madhya, mājhāre. I will place these lotus feet in my heart. I will dedicate my entire life and soul to them. And rākhi is keeping. Rākhi, rākhiya. Okay, second verse. Tāre na dekhiyā mora mone boro tap. Anale paśibo kimba jole dibo jump. Jump. I wonder that word jump. Jump, to jump. I wonder if that's, no, that couldn't be taken from the English. Okay. If I am not able to see Lord Krishna's lotus feet, my heart will burn with suffering. I will end this life by entering a blazing fire or jumping into water. Okay, tāre na dekhiyā, not seeing of him, more mone, my mind, boro tap will be burning very much. Yeah, tapa. Tapa is heat, tapa, I guess, is suffering. Anale, in the fire, paśibo, I will enter. Kimva, or else, jale dibo jump. And I wonder if that's just a coincidence, jump, and English jump. I will jump into water. Debo is I will give. So I will give, jump. Anyway, I don't know the literal meaning of jump. Okay, 3, muker muchabo gam kaujabo angua shramete batas dibo chondonari chuva. The Y, I think, kind of disappears in these cases. When I meet Lord Krishna, I will serve him in various ways. Muker muchabo. Wiping the sweat from the face is interesting. Perspiration. I will give him nice food and drink. Let's see. Gam. So gam must mean perspiration, and muchabo, I will wipe, I will clean off. And then kau jabo angua. So ka is eating. Kau jabo, causing to eat. Okay, yeah, so it's a causative. I will cause to eat pan or betel nut. And guwa, I don't know. Shramete, okay. I will fan him. I will anoint his body with sandalwood paste and other fragrant things. Shramete bātas divo chandonadi chua. Shramete. Shramete is, oh yes, from out of fatigue. Shrama means effort. Shrama eva hi kevalam. Simply a waste, simply effort, as in the second chapter, first canto Bhagavatam. Then bātas divo, I will give air or a fan. Bāta means air. And chandana adi, chua, sandal paste, etc. Here also chua, I don't know specifically. Verse 4, I will string Vrindavaner puler gantiya dibohar vinaya bandhibo chuda kuntalir bhar. I will string a garland of Vrindavan forest flowers. So Vrindavaner puler gantiya, having strung, I think, gantiya, flowers, pula, of Vrindavan, having strung a string of flowers of Vrindavan, dibo, I will give, har, I will give the garland. Hara in South India, a hara, I think that's hara, but maybe it's hara. In South India, I just came to know long years ago when I was in South India visiting mainly Nrsimha temples, but I think it was in some Ram temple that I first saw a shalagram hara, a garland of shalagram shilas. I was surprised and amazed and intrigued to see that they were offering a shalagram hara to the deity. And I came to know it's called a shalagram hara because I asked one of the priests. And that inspired me that, maybe we could collect shalagram shilas and make a shalagram hara for our Nrsimha in Singhachalam, which we eventually were able to arrange. And as you may know, this does not mean drilling holes in the shalagram shilas to string them, but rather it means making how to say, some holders out of silver for each single shalagram, where the holders are then like little, sort of like little cages, which are then hooked to each other, connected to each other. So in that way, the shalagram shilas are respected and protected. Yeah. 53 shalagram shilas we have on Nrsingadev's shalagram hara. Okay, Vrindavan er puler gantiya dibohar Vinaya, let's see. Vinaya bandhibo. I want to say bind. It says here arrange. Tie or braid, yes. Chuda. Chuda, doesn't that, yes, chuda means hair, I think. Kuntaler bar. I will carefully arrange his hair and tie his top knot. So there you go. Krishna has a top knot. Why would he have a top knot? Well, boys, I guess they would let the hair grow long and then they would tie it up and sort of wrap it into a knot on the top of the head. And that's, that's something, especially now the Sikhs, Sikh men are also doing like this, especially. But in general, you see sadhus with a top knot. Paile tilaka dibo chandanir chand Narottama das kohe piriter pand. I will decorate Lord Krishna with a peacock feather, tilak markings, and a moon drawn in sandalwood paste. Narottama Das says, in this way I will gradually attain love for Lord Krishna. Now, this gradually, I don't know that that's specifically there, but maybe it is. Kapalir. Yes, Kapala is the forehead, and Chandaner Chand would be a moon of Chandan. Yeah, we sometimes see like a sliver moon. We see sometimes deities decorated, or pictures of Krishna. You'll see he'll have a little moon as tilak. Narottama Das kohe piriter hand. In our word for word, says the trick of love. Okay, that's interesting. Again, pirita is stretched out, priti, and then the possessive makes it pritera, so piritera, priti, love. The pand, the trick of love. Okay. I will gradually learn the trick of love. I don't know. But if there's something to it that it's that gradually should be there, I think that's also interesting. Because if we go by this translation, he's saying, if I can do all of these services, which are very direct and intimate services, specifically to Krishna this time, then I will attain. So one might well ask, how is it possible to do all of those services without having already attained such love? To which one answer could be that he is, what he's describing is worship of a deity of Krishna, or in meditation, that he's doing all of this worship in meditation as a practice. just a thought, he might possibly, just possibly, be describing such a meditation. Well, be that as it may, shall we try to sing this song? Why not? Okay. You're all welcome to sing with a full voice, even though we don't hear you, because Krishna hears you. Or, depending on your circumstance, you can sing mentally, or you can sing softly. Let's see. All right, we have the family harmonium of Darya Janani and family here.
The sound is on, Guru Maharaj.
Say again?
The sound for musician sound, if you...
Yes, I turned it on.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Oh, this harmonium is going to take some more finger exercise to make sound. Sure we don't have anything else? No, I guess not. All right. Okay. Hey, bāra paile, dekhā, charana dukhāni, hiyāra, mājhāre, rākhi, judabo parāni. Hey, bāra paile, dekhā, charana dukhāni, hiyāra, mājhāre, rākhi, judabo parāni. Tāre na dekhiyā, mora, mone, boro, anale, paśibo, kimba, jale divo jampa. Tāre na dekhiyā, mora, mone, boro, dekhā. Anale, paśibo, kimba, jale, divo jampa. Mukera, muchabo gam, kau jabo pangoya. Let's try that again. Muker machabo gam, kau kayabo pangoya. Shramete batas divo chandanadi chura. Mukera machabo gamak gaujabo panguja. Shramete batas divo chandanadi chura. Vrindavane puler gantiya diboha. Vinaya bandibo chura kuntalera ba. Vrindavane puler gantiya diboha. Vinaya bandibo chura kuntalera ba. Kapale tilak dibo chandanera chanda. Narottama Dasa kohe piritera panda. Kapale tilaka dibo chandanera chanda. Narottama Dasa kohe pirite pan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Hare Hare. Haribo, 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 go, Haribo. Jai Narottama Das Thakur ki Jai. So, and to continue this, turn off musicians. Okay, I remember. Now to continue with the story of Narottama Das Thakur. So Narottama's desire to go to Vrindavan is simply increasing and increasing despite his parents' efforts to discourage him. Before I start though, I was wondering, Prema Sarovara, I see that you are there. That's very nice. And I see also Smarahari is there. And I was wondering, is he understanding anything?
Well, Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble greetings. Actually, I use another phone to
so you are doing
Mahari, so Mahari can hear
so
some
you're
translation
translating for him.
Yes, I'm trying
nice.
to do that.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. I try not to speak too fast. Okay, so his parents, I'm going to summarize a bit more than I have because we want to see how the story moves along. And I think that Mother Shitala Devi, whose presentation of the story this is, she may be doing a bit of, we may say, embellishment. We don't have the original sources here to compare, but that's all right. It's a certain way of doing a devotional biography, we can say. Okay, so yeah, Narottama wants to go to Vrindavan, and it's become clear to his parents now that he really means it. And because he really means it, his father decides, well, there's no question of him going to Vrindavan. He's probably still very young, and in any case, he has other plans for Narottama. He wants him to become a nice little prince to eventually take responsibilities of a prince or a king or some sort of chieftain. So seeing all this, he decides, okay, we have to make sure that he cannot escape. And so he makes sure that there are guards 24 hours a day to keep him. And of course, this simply increases Narottama's desire to leave. It just fans the flames of his desire to go. Okay, now, his intensity of longing for Vrindavan becomes especially sharp at night. He's in his room, he can't sleep. But then when he does sleep, what happens? He has two very interesting dreams. So in the first dream, he sees Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is in his glorious golden form. And when Narottama's eyes in this dream meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's infinitely deep, loving gaze, he thought his heart will explode. And then he falls at the Lord's feet. The Lord touches his feet with his foot, touches his head with his foot, and he says, "Don't worry about anything. I have many plans for you to carry out." And then he commands him. He says, "Go to Vrindavan, and there you will be initiated by my dear devotee, Lokanath." So we've heard about Lokanath's desire to stay with Mahaprabhu, and then Mahaprabhu ordering him to go to Vrindavan. So Lokanath is in Vrindavan. You'll be initiated by Lokanath. He will pour the nectar of the holy name into your ears. And just pour the nectar into your ears. And then the Lord disappears, and Narottama wakes up. He's absolutely overwhelmed now. And of course, he can't go to sleep, but then eventually, after some hours, he kind of settles down, and again he falls asleep. And what happens? Another dream. Again, the Lord appears to him in this dream, but now he's on the bank of the Ganga in Navadvip, and he is together with his associates, Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar Pandit, Srivas Thakur. And there are so many other devotees also present. And what are they doing? They're all singing and dancing. They're having kirtan, sankirtan. It seems like the whole population of Navadvip have swarmed, have crowded the riverbank. They're all eager to witness this sankirtan. And Narottama, in his dream, sees also Lord Brahma, he sees Lord Shiva, He sees other demigods and goddesses. And they're all disguised and they're all walking around. And even animals and birds are looking on with wide eyes because they're captivated by this beautiful scene. So Narottama's having all of these amazing dreams. And then in this dream, Mahaprabhu gently lifts Narottama, who's bowing down to him, and embraces Narottama, and he collapses, and the other devotees embrace him, and everyone encourages him, yes, go to Vrindavan. So there's a lot of competition for Narottama's parents, Krishnananda and Narayani. All of the Mahaprabhu himself and all of the devotees, followers of Mahaprabhu are saying, yes, come, go to Vrindavan. So for Narottama, this means it's all confirmed. If he had any doubt whether he should go to Vrindavan, now he has no longer any doubt. It's all confirmed by the... Okay, now the plot thickens, as we say. In the next chapter, we hear that some messengers have come to the palace of Krishnananda, and they hand Krishnananda the message, and he's reading the message. And what does it say? It's from the Nawab. It's from the Muslim king of Bengal. And it says, I want to see Narottama. I have heard about him. I have heard about his intense Krishna Bhavanamrita. I want to see this. And of course, Krishnananda is quite disturbed by this, and Narayani says, no way, there's no way he can go. And Krishnananda says, I'm sorry, we cannot refuse. He's the Nawab. I'm a small scale king here, but I'm actually under his rule. If I would refuse, I would be in big trouble. And so they make arrangement. Okay, it's going to be a big procession. Soldiers, guards will be conducting Narottama to the capital. Whether the capital was Ramkeli at this time, I don't know. It says here the procession headed north. Well, again, some geography is not clear, but okay. Okay, now comes his great escape. So he's, of course, from the moment he hears that he's to be taken to meet the Nawab, he immediately understands my chance is now going to come to escape during this journey. And so he's planning, he's calculating that the time to make his escape will be midnight, because by that time, all the guards are going to be asleep. no doubt. So that's what he does. And sure enough, the guards are asleep. And so he is able to slip away without being noticed. And as soon as he gets a little distance away, just starts running. Does he have any idea which way to run? That's not mentioned. But it says here, nothing now would stop him from finding his way to the Holy Land of Vrindavan. There's a footnote. Where are these footnotes? Up there. Well, I don't know where the footnotes are kept. Okay, so he's running, and the sun rises and he's running, and it's hot. But does he care about the heat? No, he just keeps running. He has nothing to drink. He has nothing to eat. He's only thinking one thing: I need to go to Vrindavan. So that's a nice mood to have. I'm just going to go to Vrindavan. Some days pass, but Narottama just keeps going, and there's no mention that he's eating anything. But at some point, he just collapses under a tree. But what happens? Raj Kumar, we have found you at last. So the guards have been chasing him, and now they've caught up. And so they say, you're coming with us. And at this point, Narottama has become so determined, he just says, no, I'm not coming with you. He simply refuses. Says, I'm not coming with you. I am going to Vrindavan. And because the soldiers, they have some, I guess, natural respect for him as the prince. They don't feel they can force him to come. And so they just stand there as he departs, he leaves them. But he gives an argument before he goes, which is an interesting one. I'm guessing that this is in the sources. Narottama, so one of the guard soldiers says, it is not fitting for a prince to behave like a vagabond. Vagabond means a wandering, homeless person. And Narottama says, on the contrary, it would not be fitting for me to return to Khetari. A faithful widow may decide to join her husband on his funeral pyre, on the fire burning the body. I have decided to climb the pyre of pure Krishna consciousness and leave my material life behind. It's not right for you to try to dissuade me, to try to stop me, to persuade me to not go. And they sort of argue back and forth. And Narottama just insists and says further to this analogy, when a woman wants to show her devotion to her dead husband in this extreme way, it's natural for her well-wishers to try to stop her. I understand you don't want me to enter the fire of God consciousness, but please understand that I would be less than a faithful servant of my Lord if I didn't attempt to enter that fire. So it's an interesting analogy that he's giving, in a sense, identifying himself as a wife, as a consort of the Lord. But I'm personally a bit bewildered by if we extend the analogy, because certainly he's not thinking that Krishna is dead. But for his purpose of expressing the necessity he feels to enter what he's calling a fire of devotion to Krishna, which is kind of, in some ways, self-destructive. It's destroying the material outer form. He's insisting on that, using that analogy. Yeah, so then Narottama just starts walking. And he keeps walking. And let's see. He keeps walking, but he does not feel lonely because he feels that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is always with him. So at some point, he's really now has no more energy. He collapses and he falls asleep under a tree, and he wakes up after some time and he says, "Oh, Gaurachandra Rupa Sanatan, will I ever reach Vrindavan?" And now, suddenly, from seemingly nowhere, a golden-skinned Brahmin boy suddenly appears before him and offers him a pot of milk. "Drink this," says the boy. "It will take away your aches and pains." So Narottama looks at the boy, but he was too tired to drink. And then he again falls asleep. And this time, again, he has a dream. Do you want to hear what the dream is? I don't know. I think we should leave this as a cliffhanger. Yes, that's a very good cliffhanger, I think. Okay. Srila Narottam Das Thakura ki jai ho. So we're leaving Narottam on his way to Vrindavan, having a third dream. All right. Again, welcome to all of you. It's always so nice to see you. Wow, there's a whole crowd there at the home of Jagan Mangala Hari. Look at that, the whole family.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Oh, it's almost the whole family.
Yes, yes.
Nice. Sehr schön.
Danke sehr.
Schön, euch zu sehen. Gibt's Nachrichten aus Srikvenica?
Alles gut bei uns in Srikvenica. Vielen Dank für die Nachfrage. Ich hoffe, dir geht's auch sehr gut.
Ja, ich bin unterwegs. I'm on the way to Sadhanashrama next Monday, coming Monday. Yeah.
Ja, wir sehen uns ja auch bald und dann fahren wir zusammen nach Simhacharana.
Genau.
Ich freue mich. Danke sehr.
Okay, let's see. Now I'm wondering, let me look. Oh, I don't see Doug with us. I think Doug wanted to, oh, maybe that's next week, to show us his sanctuary farm. Anyway, okay. Maybe next time. So, show and tell time. Who has something you want to show us and tell us? Otherwise, I know we have a question from Tia. But maybe before Tia's question, anyone? News from where? News from Dubai. Any news from Dubai? You went to Bahrain. Are you still in Bahrain or you're back?
No, I'm back. But yeah, I was in Bahrain for the first time, and it was really sweet, I can say. It was, let's say, compared to Dubai, it was more family meeting because there were only 500 devotees.
Only?
Yes, for this Kirtan, it was Kirtan Fest. Chaitanya Charitamrita, who's main organizer, he every year invites all the big Kirtaniyas from in the world, in ISKCON world. And I was so amazed because everybody comes because they're such a good friends. And this was really very inspiring for me to see that they're coming just because of the friendship they have. And even actually I shared just because weekend there it's Friday, Saturday. This is like weekend, so it started on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And so I choose the second day. I choose in the morning time that I will be just for the first hour in the kirtan, and then I will go to chant my rounds because it's there are local devotees which I don't know them and younger because they give them opportunity to sing. And I said I will come in the afternoon. I mean later because those famous kirtaniyas comes later, right? And after the first kirtan, I saw Amala Harinam Prabhu came, Manu from Radhadesh, Lord Krsna Prabhu. Everybody came, and I was like, did they change the schedule? And I went to see. I mean, because I know that they're in afternoon. And then I asked Chaitanya Charitamrita, what is going on right now? And he said, no, it's the schedule is the same. They're just come to support young devotees, young kirtaniyas, to play with them. All those big names. So I was so inspired by that I stayed even myself.
And then you had 32 rounds to chant the next day.
No. I did it afternoon. I find the slot in between, but I stay with the local devotees, with those young Vaishnavas, which they were. It was really amazing. I noticed that. I mean, I was imagining, for example, if I would do the bhajan and then Madhava Prabhu will play mridanga. I mean, this is really like, oh my gosh, it's a lot of pressure, I would say. But yeah, it was so sweet to see this support from the senior devotees. Yeah, so this was Bahrain. Yeah, like this.
I've had that same experience of feeling very supported by the expert kirtaniyas. And you mentioned Madhava Prabhu on mridanga. I must say, I think he is one of my favorite. He's known mainly for his singing and so on. I really like his mridanga playing, and I like it because he's super sensitive to the moods and the speed and so on. I mean, all the expert mridanga players are like that, but I remember one time when I was leading the singing, he was playing mridanga, and it was just very, very pleasing. I must say, I also have the opposite experience when you're leading the kirtan and someone is, let's say, very sincerely trying to play mridanga, but something is missing, and it can make it especially challenging.
Thank you for sharing this, Guru Maharaj.
Krishna Ragini.
Yes.
Your hand
Hare
is
Krishna.
up.
Yes, I have some news, some good news,
Oh,
because everyone knows about the court case we had. I thought to share it.
in Timisoara.
Yeah, that we won the case.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
meaning that Harshi has now to hold the general meeting, so we can get new devotees in the legal society.
Right.
We can accept them.
Okay.
So there are devotees who are there for 30 years
Yeah,
and they
yeah.
are not in the legal society.
Right.
So now he has his law bound to
Right.
hold this meeting. So we won the case. This is a good news.
After such a long time of everything being kind of frozen, right?
Yeah. Usually, though, they don't get. I mean, the court does not get inside the internal organization
Right.
of the society.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's something that it's in the legal power.
If they
to
feel
do
they have to.
it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Thank you for that news. That's good news indeed. Some of you here may not be aware there was a kind of legal issue going on with the temple property in Timisoara in Romania. And what Krishna Ragini Mataji is reporting is that now that's been settled in a way which is favorable to the devotees, as we would understand. Of course, there's someone who is on the other side who is no doubt taking it as unfavorable, but I guess Krishna has to take sides sometimes for Lord Chaitanya's mission. Good. Yeah, speaking of courts, being involved in a religion, I remember not so many years ago now, New York, the Brooklyn Temple got into a legal snarl with the former temple president, and who wanted to sell the temple without informing the GBC. And then it was found out that not only he wanted to sell it, but he had already signed a contract for selling it. And as it happens in New York State law, in legal terms, a religious organization is treated in some respects as a child, meaning a dependent, as someone who kind of needs some care and some protection. And it's, of course, much more exactly specified. So anyway, because of that, it was possible to get a ruling, a decision in favor of ISKCON, to say no, the temple is not to be sold, even though a contract had already been signed. And it also protected the ISKCON from a possible case against them by the company who wanted to buy the property. They could say, they could come back and say, and we would say sue ISKCON, but this prevented them from doing that. So that's nice. And I might mention, when we're on the subject of court cases and ISKCON, there has been also another favorable ruling for some property. I think it's just a house in also New York, in Long Island, that was contested. Devotees who were followers of the, we call them the Ritviks, were claiming ownership. So that was going on also for some years. And as I understand, it was finally resolved in favor of ISKCON. Yeah. Yeah, these things happen. And then, as Krishna says to Arjuna, sometimes you have to stand up and fight. Okay, so anything
Guru
else?
Maharaj,
Yes.
if I can just mention, I forgot to tell about Bahrain.
Yeah.
Just as because I also didn't know that before, that in Bahrain, this is the only country in the Middle East, which is totally Muslim country, but ISKCON temple is there. This is the only country where ISKCON temple is officially allowed to be in the middle of the Muslim country, I would say like that.
Wow.
So yeah,
Huh.
in Bahrain there is an ISKCON temple.
With deities.
With deities, yeah. Maybe next time I can show the photos, but they have a lot. I mean, many of them. Shishirada Bahrain Ishvara.
Oh, okay.
Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. Prahlad Nrsimhadev. And they have also Krishna Balaram, which Balaram, it's quite chubby, really, and he doesn't have a hand on Krishna, but he has a hand in his waist. You know, he's a little Christian. Yeah, it's really sweet. I will get nice photos, and next time I can share.
Okay.
You can see them. Yes, thank you.
I was in Bahrain in, I think it was 1979. That's really dating me. I was the assistant to Hrishikesh Swami at that time, and he was the GVC or co-GVC for the Middle East for a short time. So we did a little tour. We went to Cairo in Egypt. We went for one day to what's the little? We went to just north of Israel. What is it called? Starts with an L. Anyway, Beirut. We went to the city Beirut just to meet Ravanari Prabhu, the late Ravanari, my godbrother, who was translating the Bhagavad Gita as it is into Arabic. And we went to Bahrain, and I don't remember if I guess we went to Dubai also.
Yes, Guru Maharaj, once you shared that you were in Dubai for the first time. Yes.
Yeah, we went a couple of times to Bahrain and Dubai, I think. Okay, good.
The results are still there, Guru Maharaj.
Well, at that time, there was nothing happening.
Yeah.
Now the real results have been blossoming. So that's amazing.
True.
All right. So, Tia, do you want to ask your question now?
Sure, Maharaj. I actually think in the reading homework that you gave me and my Bhakti Sastri class, think I found the answer. So,
So you can tell us what's the question plus what's the answer.
Okay, no pressure. So my question was, are we always going to like struggle in spiritual life just because of the nature of being, trying to pursue a spiritual life in the material world? Is it just expected that we'll suffer forever until we leave this body? Or will it eventually, we'll find some joy maybe in the suffering, or will it become sweet? And Maharaj told me to find the verse in the Gita that speaks directly to this. So I did. And then in my reading for my Bhakti Sastri class, I was reading about the different like types of bhakti and the levels of bhakti. And so I kind of assumed that once we reach a certain point of bhakti, whether it's bhava or prema, I'm not sure, but that's apparently, maybe that's when the suffering will stop, because we've reached such a high platform in bhakti that we only feel bliss in the things and it doesn't feel like poison anymore. Okay. That was my conclusion.
What was the verse that you found?
1837. So that which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness.
Oh, yes. Yes, very good. As opposed to happiness in the mode of passion and happiness in the mode of ignorance, which starts out sweet and goes sour, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's sour all the way through.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I've just been thinking, like, this question came because I've been thinking a lot about like spiritual, like dry periods where, you know, like mentally we want to be, you know, in it, and there's not a feeling of wanting to not be a devotee anymore, or no question of, you know, leaving, but it's just kind of becomes a little bit more dry and difficult, and we don't really want to chant our rounds, and then suddenly, I don't know, I've experienced that suddenly, then this feeling kind of goes away on its own. Maybe if you listen to, I don't know, a lecture, have some sort of association with your devotee friends or something. But I'm just kind of thinking, like, why do we go through these periods of like spiritual dryness and struggle? And like, that's kind of what I meant by like, will we always struggle? Will we always have these spiritual dry periods in our lives?
Will we always have some dark night of the soul?
Exactly.
To go through. And so then you were reading about bhava and prema, and it sounded like there's hope, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah. Yeah, I would say there's light at the end of the tunnel where instead of just suffering, it becomes bliss suffering. Because then it's, you know, the bittersweetness of feelings of separation, viraha, the absence of the Lord. And that's a kind of, it's a kind of, yeah, I guess we can say expressed by bittersweet. So bittersweet is it's a very nice taste, like sweet sour. You know, sweet sour sabji can be very nice. Yes, and of course that's from the map that's given in very brief form by Srila Rupa Goswami. Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangota Tato Bhajana Kriya Tato Anartha Nivritti Syat Tato Nishta Ruchistata Tata Saktis Tato Bhava Tata Prema Yudanchati Sadakama Maya Premna Pradabhave Bhavet Krama. It's describing this ladder. And one, I think, relevant to what you mentioned is already before the middle part of this. So anartha nivritti. Anartha means what's not wanted. And one thing that's not wanted is to feel discouraged, to feel dry or whatever. So we might say psychologically unwanted things. And nivritti means freedom from, the curbing, the stopping of what is not wanted. It's the opposite of pravritti, which is engagement or activity. So we want anartha nivritti, so that we can experience artha pravritti. And yes, Lebanon, you wrote, I see. Couldn't think of the name. And so I think the light at the end of the tunnel is, I mean, it's already there from the beginning. Otherwise, we would not venture into, I mean, it's not like we're outside of the tunnel and then we enter into a tunnel when we take up spiritual life. So the analogy has its limits. But we move forward with a sense that, yes, there is an end to the tunnel. And we could say that's the shraddha in the beginning. Now, sometimes it's said that shraddha is actually preceded by sadhu sanga. Because how are you going to get any kind of shraddha unless there's something rubbing off from others who already have that?
Yeah.
So anyway, ado shraddha tada sadhu sanga, before and after the shraddha, we might say, although it's not that shraddha is there and then we're passing beyond shraddha. No, it's increasing shraddha. Sadhu sanga, and then association, and then bhajana kriya. And this bhajana kriya, this is maybe where we sometimes feel like we're, to use a kind of crude analogy, like the engine is not in gear. We're not, the engine is running, ring, 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 but the vehicle is not moving forward. And that's where that feeling could come. I'm chanting, I'm hearing, I'm associating with devotees, but something is not giving me a sense of forward movement. Of course, we're also urged to be thinking when we feel like that, have I made some Vaishnava aparat? Is there something that I've said or done, maybe even thought? Because even though it said we're not subject to, in this age of Kali, to karmic reaction to our thoughts, still, thoughts, they have some sort of samskar, some impression is there. So they could be a factor. Yeah, so we're urged to reflect on that. But then anartha nivritti is promised, and then nishtha, or being fixed. And fixed means one is sort of no longer asking the question, oh, maybe I should stop. There's no longer that question. One is now fixed. Now I'm on the train, to take another analogy. So even if even if the train is going very slowly, like an Indian train, which sometimes you're traveling and then it'll just, in the middle of nowhere, the train will stop. and you wonder what's going on. And there's no way to know what's going on. There's nothing to do but just sit and wait. And then eventually it'll move again. Yeah, nishta, and then ruchi, taste. There's some, and of course we're getting some kind of taste long before we've actually come to that stage of ruchi. Some bits of ruchi are, I think they're, also from the beginning, if there wouldn't be some taste. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasavarjam raso api asya param drishtva nivartate. Because of some taste, param drishtva, having seen something superior. The word param can mean just something superior, or it can refer to the Supreme Lord. Param drishtva nivartate. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say there's light at the end of the tunnel. Keep your eyes on that light.
Thank you.
So good. Okay. Oh, time is going. Shall we read some Chaitanya Charitamrita or anybody?
Guru Maharaj, you also mentioned that you would like to read something you came across. I don't know, it was this.
Oh, okay. It's not so much reading as mentioning. I am, as a fellow of the Oxford Center for Animal Ethics, I receive their journal, which comes, I think it's twice a year, the Journal of Animal Ethics. It's an academic journal. And one of their, or maybe it is their latest issue, has an article called Rational Hope for the Animal Rights Movement. And it's a very well-written article. It's very significant, I think, in a way which may be relevant for my writing on animal ethics, this book that I'm working on. But it struck me also that it might be applicable more broadly. The idea of hope, which is rational, rational hope. And the author makes a distinction between belief and hope. And he also makes a distinction between optimism and hope. And he has a very specific term, which, anyway, I'll just read. It's called careful, substantial hope. So this actually, I think we could connect this to the question is it always a struggle? Tia's question. Careful, substantial hope. So here's a little one-sentence definition in the context of animal rights movement. Careful, substantial hope is the practical orientation on the assumption, not the belief, on the assumption that because the animal rights movement will employ the right strategies and tactics, it will likely succeed. So the context of the article is that people who are engaged in animal welfare, animal rights, people engaged in that movement are sort of painfully aware that if you look at the whole world situation, the amount of animals being killed all over the world, the fact that it's really not reducing, to see this can be very discouraging, to make one think, actually, it's hopeless. Why are we trying so hard to do something for the animals when it's not bringing any result? Nobody is listening. Nobody is taking us seriously. So the article, he's analyzing different ways that this discouragement comes. And then he's suggesting, based on some other sources, philosophers who have written about hope, that it is possible to rationally, not irrationally, but rationally have hope. And this is the point that's being made with the idea of careful, substantial hope. And I'll read this again, the practical orientation. So it's not just about theory. There's something to be done practically. The practical orientation on the assumption, which is not a belief, it's an assumption. So we assume something to be the case, which means it's using a little bit imagination. In philosophy, often one makes a mind experiment. Let us assume X, Y, and Z. In that case, then A, B, and C, or whatever. So here he's saying the practical orientation on the assumption, not the belief, that because the animal rights movement will employ the right strategies and tactics, it will likely succeed. So you could say, well, that's a very big assumption. Why should we assume that the animal rights movement will employ the right strategies and tactics? We might want to argue against that. But let's just assume. Let's set aside all the doubts and assume that the movement is doing the right things and using the right tactics and so on. So if we make that assumption, what follows is that the animal rights, the purpose, the aim of the animal rights movement will likely succeed. It is likely, it is very much possible that it will succeed. Okay, that's just about the animal rights and animal welfare and so on. Again, that's interesting for me, for what I'm writing, but I think more generally, we could think about hope in spiritual life in a similar way. If I engage in the practice which uses the right strategies and tactics of sadhana bhakti, then I can assume that it will likely bring success. And so that becomes a rational hope. It's not irrational. And hope is, I mean, without hope, we cannot get out of bed in the morning, right? We can't do anything without hope. I thought that was interesting. I don't know if that was interesting for you all, but I thought that's quite cool. Any thoughts on any of that, or you're all just shaking your heads in wonder what's gotten into this Swami?
I wanted to say something, Guru.
Yes?
Yes, while you were reading about the hope and then assumption, hope that's based on assumption, I was just thinking like, but you almost said the same thing. Like I was thinking, like I may never see Krishna in this lifetime, but I'm continuing in my Krishna consciousness practice, which gives me the hope for maybe seeing Krishna in next lifetime, or maybe in this lifetime. So that's they were my thoughts. Because in Krishna consciousness we can get discouraged in many different ways by our own practice or by other devotees that we see around us, saying one thing and behaving, not following up on what they're saying, following up on the philosophy. So we can like, but if we take everything else out of equation and just think of Krishna, that he definitely exists, and he is the one who is giving us this hope. And there is no chance that that's a failure, because it's always a win. So we just have to see myself or ourselves in that like a glorious win of Krishna as your part and parcel.
Of course, we can also just pin our faith on Krishna's words, like when he says, Neha bhikramanashosti pratyavayo navidyate, svalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. That even a step toward the right direction, abhikrama, is never lost. Every effort is a gain. Also, again, Rupa Goswami speaks of bhava bhakti and the different characteristics of bhava bhakti, and one of them is ashabandha. And Prabhupada translates, I think, as hope against hope. Literally bound by hope. Ashabandha, bound by hope. But what I found interesting in this article is it's suggesting, naturally we want to base our hope on faith. But what this article is suggesting is there's a way to sort of justify, I would say, the hope in in rational terms, or to show that it is it can be completely rational to sustain hope. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see, Martina. So we have to look what is the right way and go further on. Ganz genau. So that is the way which is, therefore it's so often said we want to follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. That idea is always there. And at the same time, we have to do the walking. We cannot, following involves some effort. We can't just sit down or lie down or whatever. We cannot be dragged. We have to follow. We have to make the effort. And we have to be careful and vigilant. So if we're climbing a mountain, a steep mountain, following in the footsteps, we still have to be very careful how we go. Yeah. Oh, Krishna, Krishna. And Dia says, now I'm thinking how hope and faith are similar, different. Is there something more you wanted to say on that, Dia?
I was just reflecting because now I'm Googling and reading about how faith and hope are different. Faith is something you possess in the present moment. Hope is anticipated fulfillment of that intention. So now I don't know. I'm just reflecting and was curious.
Mm. Yeah.
Now,
hope is certainly future oriented, isn't it?
mm-hmm. Seems you can't. Can you have hope without faith? I don't know.
I don't know. Doesn't seem like it, does it? Yeah. Good. Okay, well, let's quickly get at least one verse in from Chaitanya Charitamrita, shall we? Okay, first I have to find it. Here we are. And this goes there. And this goes here. And share. Okay, Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta-vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gora Bhakta-vrinda. All right, so we're in 14th chapter of Adi Leela, and Jagannath Mishra and Sachimata are being conscientious parents, so much so that even though these devatas are coming and telling Jagannath Mishra, hey, don't you know who you're dealing with? He is saying, Deva Siddha Mui Kene Noi, Jeshe Mora Hauk Matra Amar Tanoi. This boy may be a demigod, a mystic yogi, or a great saintly person. It doesn't matter what he is, for I think he is only my son. So we get some Vatsalya mood of Jagannath Mishra. And we don't hear a whole lot from Jagannath Mishra in Chaitanya Charitamrita, I must say. It will not be long before the next thing we hear is that he has left the world, and then Nimai, or Nimai Pandit, is going to be going to for the ceremony of his Shraddha. Okay, verse 87. Putrera lalana shikha pitara shadharma amina shikale kaiche janibe dharma marma. It is the duty of a father to educate his son in both religion and morality. If I do not give him this education, how will he know of it? Okay, lalana shiksha, the education for maintenance, I suppose you could say. And this is the swadharma of the pita. So pitar swadharma. Amina shikale, if I would not give education, aiche janibe dharma marma. How will he know? Janibe is will know in the future. Dharma marma, which is translated here as religion and morality. In my mind, the word marma can mean something like core or heart, sort of like essence. And so the essence of Dharma, I don't know. But anyway, it's taken here as religion and morality. How will he know of religion and morality unless I teach him? So we have a very responsible father in Jagannath Mishra. And he's not going to be deviated from his responsibility. Okay, then this unnamed Brahmin who has appeared in the dream of Jagannath Mishra, Viprakahi, says, Putra jadi daiva siddha hoy, shatta siddha gyan, tabe shikha bharta hoy. Brahman replied, if your son is a transcendental mystic boy with self-effulgent perfect knowledge, what is the use of your education? Yeah, he's not. So the Brahman is saying, look, he's not ordinary. That means he doesn't need your education. He already knows all of these things. Why? He is, there is svata siddha gyan. That's interesting. Self-illuminated perfect knowledge. Tabe shiksha vyarta. Vyarta is futile. It's a waste. You're wasting your time. Putra jadi daiva siddha hoy. So jadi, if he is a daiva siddha, a perfect transcendental being, then there is svata siddha gyan. He has, so what's going to be the value of your training? But Mishra says, Putra kene nahe narayan, tatapi pitar dharma, putrer shikana. Jagannath Mishra replied, even if my son is not a common man, but Narayana, still it is the duty of a father to instruct his son. Yeah. Kene nahe Narayana. Maybe he is, okay, I guess this is a Bengali way of putting it. It's kind of a double negative. Why not? Maybe he's Narayan. Putra kene nai. why not? He's Narayan. Okay. Tatapi still, and that's a very Sanskritic way of saying it, tatapi. Pita Dharma, the Dharma of the Pita, is the shikshana of the putra, right? So he's a very duty-conscious father. E motte dunhe koren dharmera vichar vishuddha vatsalja mishrer nahi jane ar. In this way, Jagannath Mishra and the Brahmin discussed the principles of religion in the dream. Yet, Jagannath Mishra was absorbed in unalloyed parental mellow and did not want to know anything else. And Prabhupada quotes from the Bhagavatam, Lord Krsna, okay, this is in chapter 8, so that means it's in the description of the Damodar Lila. So Krishna is making mischief. Lord Krsna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is worshipped with exalted hymns by all the Vedas and Puranas and by the great personalities through Sankhya Yoga in the mode of goodness, was considered by Mother Yashoda and Nanda to be their own little son. 45, that must be coming near the end of that chapter. Vishuddha vatsalya, his parental affection is unalloyed, vishuddha. So both of them are very dharma conscious, koren dharmera vichar. And nahi jane ar, they don't know anything else. So that's interesting because it's devotion, obviously. But it's not devotion, it's not hindered in this case by dharma, but rather the sense of dharma is enhancing or it's supporting their devotion. Because their devotion is in Vatsalya mode, therefore in Vatsalya mode, being dharma conscious and wanting to instill dharma in their son is fully appropriate. It's not, there's no conflict. We often, sometimes, sort of put dharma and bhakti in opposition, that the consciousness of rules, doing everything right and proper, can be an obstacle to dharma, to bhakti. Not so in this case. This is a very interesting example of how it's completely complementary. Atta shuni dijagela haya anandita mishra jagiya aila parama vismita. Being very pleased, the Brahmin left after talking with Jagannath Mishra, and when Jagannath Mishra awakened from his dream, he was very much astonished. Eta shuni is with the apostrophe shunya, having heard, after hearing. Gela haya anandita. And that's also very Sanskritic, anandita, pleased. Mishra jagiya, having awakened. Hayila parama vismita. Not just vismita, but Paramavismita, which Prabhupada translates here as highly, so as very much astonished. So in his devotion, in his Dharma imbued feelings of Vatsalya Dharma, he can also feel vismita, he can also feel wonder. And Kavi Karnapura, the great Vaishnava poet, Kavi Karnapura, as I understand, he writes that the very foundation of bhakti rasa is adbhuta, is wonder. He kind of differs from Rupa Goswami in this regard. Right. Sita Sundari has written, for me, it always helps me to become inspired and juicy instead of dryness by sharing Krishna with others in some way. For example, a sweet ball for the postman. It can really light up my whole day by giving someone even one single sweet ball. And yes, we know, we hear this frequently. We get reports from Sita Sundari Mataji. She's a big prasadam distributor. She makes friends all over town with her sweets that she shares. She makes so many friends, not just the postman, but also the dentist. The dentist is more careful with her teeth because she feeds him nice sweets. Am I right? Yes. Okay, so on that happy note.
Yes, you are so right.
Yes, no, that's a good point you're making. Just a little effort to give little something of Krishna to someone else, it can just make everything very bright and clear and nice. So it's not that we have this long tunnel that we have to crawl through this whole life and next life. Maybe next life, we get a glimpse of Krishna. No, already now, you can just distribute some prasadam, chant Hare Krishna. Yeah, sublime process. Okay, Jai Ho. Thank you all very much. And I wish you all a wonderful week. And stay sane and stay safe and chant and be happy and remember Lord Chaitanya so that whatever you do will be easy. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari.
Hare Hare Bol.
Hare
Krishna.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you,
Devo,
Guru
Hare Krishna.
Good weekend. Thank you so much, Gurudas.
Guru Maharaj.
Krishna, thank you, Guru
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
Yeah, thank you.